Me. Right. Hi. Hello. Oh, how's it going? How's everyone doing? I'm BoredGamer. Started an hour earlier than I normally would. I've got a cold. I feel pretty rough. and sort of recovering from a stag do reunion that we did from the weekend, and then got quite a bad cold. Has me sort of broken as a person. My back, my chest, my eyes hurt, rough. Yeah. So just recovering from all of that. And I thought, while I'm sort of in the mood to stream briefly, I'll do it. So one of the things I sort of as people are trickling in and realizing, oh, he's Gamer's live. He's mystical, magical beast that he is. And hopefully people start trickling in. But yeah, I'll talk about some random stuff. We're planning to do a lot more content in March. Sort of first couple of months of the year for Star Citizen content are a little dry. There's typically, especially if there's a patch been delayed, and there's not a huge amount to talk about. Cloud Imperium obviously spent the whole of January scheduling and not producing as much content. So we're going to use that time to still produce some videos in sort of January, February every year, but we'll slow down a bit and maybe like encourage Zin and I to take some holidays and things like that, or plan some content, or do more gameplay focused content. But after that, starting March, I actually want to try and get a couple of videos done a day. I'd like to have an average video rate of 1.5 between 1.5 and 2 videos a day. So the weekends, we'll try and get a lore video out and a news video out. But the other days, get a couple of videos out, because that can be a mixture of news, that can be a mixture of opinions on ships, it can be guides, it can be gameplay. There's so much going on in Star Citizen. It can be expectations, it can be delving into a particular feature on the roadmap. And there's loads of other content that I'm supposed to be doing, really, that I sort of am super lazy about, like the Org Spotlight stuff. Like, really, I want to be interviewing at least one org a month, preferably one org every couple of weeks, and sort of talking about what they're planning to do in Star Citizen, what they do now in Star Citizen, what players are appropriate for joining them, that sort of jazz, because I do think that's important. Star Citizen is best enjoyed as a group, and a lot of players would have a lot more fun and understand and be able to get into a lot more gameplay if they find an org for them to join. So but obviously there's a load of other community things going on all the time as well that I should be covering a bit better. So that could be all the racing stuff, that can be some of the PvP stuff and tournaments, and that can also be things like the various apps that are around for Star Citizen, and websites that allow you to help you mine or whatever. There's loads of stuff. So yeah, I want to start to be covering all this sort of stuff in March. Although at the end of March I do have a little bit of a holiday. Sid and I are going to an Airbnb with her partner and a load of our other mates, play board games and chill. And lots of console games this time as well. So that'll be nice. I'm tired. So if anyone's got any questions, question in brackets, and sort of come to them throughout the live stream. Hopefully you can hear me. My voice is obviously a bit pained. So yeah, I do want to talk a bit about the Antares, because obviously that's going to be a new EMP / quantum interdictor of form in 3.18, and because of all the new other parts of 3.18 with soft destruction and the cargo factor, and effectively allowing for boarding and looting much better, that ship has a lot of function. And obviously there have been some leaks about it, as well as some reveals about it, and we're left in a place where we're not quite sure what the Antares is doing. Is it just a quantum dampener, or is it a quantum snare and dampener? Obviously it's an EMP ship as well. How viable is it? How powerful is it? Because it's a heavy fighter. Originally I thought it lost the second seat It looks like it's got both seats, and it looks like the second seat, the co-pilot, is the quantum and EMP operator, probably. So it's an interesting one. It's possible it's overpowered. We don't even know its price yet. I think between $260 and $280 would be my expectation. What else is there? 3.19 as well. Clan Imperium, we're talking loads about 3.19. So 3.19 is supposed to be released sometime between after 3.18 is released and the end of May, because it's supposed to be released before the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. Yeah, that's what Clan Imperium said. 3.19 contains loads and loads of updates and gameplay sort of evolutions. So quite a chunky gameplay patch. And one of those evolutions is mining, which Clan Imperium talked about. I've got a big deep dive into that Inside Star Citizen episode that was recently on, and a bit more context that we're going up after the stream probably. So yeah, mining, they are evolving that a lot. They're making it a lot more future-proof. They're tweaking some of the economy. They are adding some new minables into the game. For FPS stuff, there is going to be quite a valuable a mineable node that you'll be able to find only in caves in FPS mining. There's iron, which is a ship exclusive, maybe ship and vehicle, but ship exclusive is what they said. Mineable. They're making certain minables like iron, so standard minables and standard resources like iron and copper only available in certain areas, or much more likely to be in certain areas. So you'd find, for example, loads of copper at Microtech and the surrounding space there, and then loads of iron at ArcCorp. And you'd make profit by mining these at one and taking them to the other side of Stanton. Obviously, that will scale up a huge amount once we have more star systems, and some are totally out of a particular material. And then there's going to be rare materials like, I would say hadnite, but it's not really hadnite, like diamonds or whatever, that are much more likely to be in iron than they would be in copper. So sort of adding diversification and complexity to the gameplay there. They also want to have a more accessible set of mining stuff, but also a higher skill ceiling to mining stuff. So there's a load of stuff going on. We've got the mole. They're going, right, if you use the mole on a mineable, then you can sync all the lasers together, and that will make the instability of the rock significantly easier to conquer. Yeah. However, if you do the same rock with a load of prospectors, it's going to be a lot more unstable. It's still doable, but it's a lot harder. So they sort of want to push actually multi-crew mining in a mole is very viable now. And not just viable, it gives you a load of pluses for doing that. They've changed all the components and the way that the mining heads and the consumables and all of those sub-items and everything work. They're sort of more geared towards particular types of rocks or materials that you're trying to extract. So yeah, I was really looking forward to all of this sort of mining and economy evolution that's coming into 3.19. Now, one of the reasons they're doing this is because they are also looking to, in the not too distant future, evolve the crafting system. Obviously, we've got a very limited crafting in 3.18 with the ability to turn salvaged materials from in the dispensaries and the Voltron Reclaimer into multi-tool bits and attachments and multi-tools. But that will evolve quite a lot over the coming months. So really looking forward to... They didn't really talk about it any more than that, unfortunately. It's not like, these things will be craftable. It's just crafting's going to get a lot more expanded. I suppose base building crafting, using materials to base build, right? Are you excited about the mining changes that are coming out? Yes. So obviously mining was pretty well refined as a gameplay loop, and they've gone, well, actually, let's tweak it a bit more. Because that shows good that they're also probably going to tweak salvage a lot more and keep on adding more salvage components, and then have any other gameplay loop come out at a relatively high standard, and then keep on evolving them as they go along, and we'll get lots of meaty gameplay that sort of starts to get added and evolved and doesn't get put on the wayside. So it's really, once they get these sort of foundational systems, foundational gameplay for a certain role or whatever in game, I don't want them then to leave it. I like the fact that they evolve it. And even when they were like, we're mostly done with mining in the short term, well, actually they went back to mining and went, well, there's a lot more gameplay we can add now, and we can push it closer to what the final goal would be. Obviously, there is a much larger scale mining, and mining needed to be used for crafting and the dynamic economy and sort of the factory nodes and how sort of these resources get consumed and used for building components, and then those components will move around. So it's all part of bigger processes, but they're getting it ready for those processes as well, while they also evolve them. So yeah, bit of a rant today. My mind is a lot more fluid as I'm ill, so just deal with that. Do you think the SRV is coming out in 3.19? And do you think tractor beams for ships will be out soon? So I think that ship scale tractor beams and the SRV will be out during the 3.19 branch. It might not be 3.19 initial, but it might be. But 3.19.x patch, almost certainly, because there seems to be a lot of focus on sort of the cargo refactor, more evolution of that cargo, and those bits and bobs, and being able to move the larger cargo containers, getting 32 SCU cargo containers in game, getting the Hull C in game, getting the SRV. Yeah, so very likely, in my opinion, and I would expect a little bit more evolved cargo gameplay with that as well. What are your thoughts on possibly removing the timer from Quantanium mining, but still leaving a volatility sensor? I'm okay with them evolving the volatility and dangerous cargo gameplay. Yeah, I'm not sure what way I'd want it to go, but I'm fine with them trying different things. That might be a great idea. A strict timer. I suppose you could say the sensors are detecting when it's likely to be unstable. So yeah, actually, what I prefer is it goes, look, this is your timer until it's unstable, and during the unstable time, bad things can happen. Still viable to deliver, but you are really pushing it. So yeah, I don't mind different levels of that. I don't mind them evolving those gameplay mechanics. I think they probably should iron them out, and there might be better alternatives. Out of curiosity, what do people think of? I'll come back to this in a minute because I'll be jumping around questions. What do people think of the Antares? I quite like the Scorpius. It's an X-wing. I think it's quite cool. I don't use it much because it's a two-seater heavy fighter. Antares, kind of like the idea of it being EMP. I want QED to actually be used a lot more in game. I think with 3.18 it will. Stephen, thank you. Thank you very much for resubbing. That is genuinely appreciated, sir. 27 months. You're on a 6-month streak. Ooh, genuinely appreciated. Well, so the Antares might not just be used for PvP. I suppose it will in 3.18. It is primarily going to be an additional to PvP. Eventually, obviously, NPCs will use it as well. We'll use these for bounty hunting too. So one of the things I think is going to be a big part of 3.19, or at least the 3.19 branch, is the evolutions of bounty hunting. And I think that will involve you being able to disable ships and capture the bounty on board. I do think that NPCs will be part of the soft destruction system eventually. What I mean by that is survive soft destruction. So yeah, I think it's an interesting ship. Looking forward to seeing more on it. So yeah, it's important that it doesn't make the Mantis useless, right? So I think we can sort of all agree on that. The Mantis, obviously a quantum dampener, snarer, jammer, does all the quantum stuff. But the Antares, it can do EMP, is awesome ability, and some form of quantum dampening. It looks like it does quantum jamming, but it looks like it doesn't snare anymore. Originally, some of the leaks suggested that it was going to be able to do both snaring and jamming. Hopefully that's not the case, because I do think that then potentially becomes overpowered. Although that said, if you have to use it from a second seat, then you can actually just use 2 Mantises instead, or a Mantis and a Warlock, and is that then comparable, right? What do we got? My eyesight is entirely wrecked as well. Apologies, I'm not sure how long we'll stream today. Hi, Board. Any idea about what the plan for hangar upgrades some of us have in our hangars? So, are you talking about the different types of hangar? Or are you talking about certain, like, different skins, or like the F7A military Hornet skin or something like that? So, as far as I'm aware, the different hangars, if you've got multiple hangars, you'll be able to select multiple locations you have a hangar, and when you start the game. That's sort of roughly what Cloud Imperium said. This stuff could change, though. Honey Whiskey Lemon. It's a good choice. I am reticent to do much in the way of medicating. I've probably got some whiskey. I'll try that. I'm pretty sure that's worked before. I've got. I'll have a flu capsule after this. My ears have started ringing. That's not great. There seems to have been a lot of issues with cheating lately. What's up? Are you sure? There's been a lot of talk about cheating lately. So, cheating happens in any game, even games that are server authoritative. Someone will find an exploit, or there'll be some form of cheat somehow. Any game, every game has some form of cheat that's got any form of following, right? Star Citizen's going to have cheats. There's going to be cheaters in it. Now, you want to minimize that, and you want to have it so that it's incredibly rare. I've saw a lot of videos, and a lot of people talk about this recently about cheaters, and like, it's just this super widespread problem. I do not think I've ever encountered a cheater in Star Citizen. I don't think so. There is somebody at my door. Now, I'm going to go check that. You can wait on my incredibly important and incisive point. I made up a work thing. And I like the fact I get a peek of viewers while I'm gone. Hi, hope you're doing well. That was at the door. I'm sure you're mostly interested in that rather than me finishing my point on cheating. Was a wash and cure station for some 3D printing. I just bought a I think it was Saturn 2. I want to get into 3D printing to some degree. I like printing. I like the idea of printing models. I'm getting a bit more into painting miniatures again. There's other cool stuff I could do with 3D printing. I might even want to run it as a business eventually. I'll be setting that up potentially over the weekend if I feel better. So my 3D printer arrived and I was like, I haven't got the energy to set this up. I really want to. Yeah. So what I was saying about cheating was cheating's going to happen in every game. cheating is bad. We want to minimize cheating as where we can. Obviously, Star Citizen is not entirely. It would be great if it was self-authoritative entirely, but it can't be unless they come up with some magic tech. It's going to have some level of client authoritative, and that means that cheats can be worked in there. Now, from what I saw, there was at the higher levels of PvP, if you play Star Citizen loads, you're going to occasionally see a cheat. Yeah, I don't think it happens all of the time. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. I think that it very much feels overreal because I haven't done a huge amount of research. I've just watched other people's videos and then obviously have my own anecdotal experience. But I've not seen a cheat as far as I'm aware in Star Citizen. I do know they exist, and obviously I've seen videos on it. Obviously the stuff with Avenger 1 and that sort of stuff recently. He accused someone of cheating that wasn't cheating. Okay, well, hopefully wasn't cheating. The guy showed footage and was like, "I'm not cheating. Come on," and he had to eat a bit of crow. Now, I play Overwatch, okay, and I'm quite a stressy person when I'm playing games that I enjoy or get moderately good at. And like with Overwatch, I accuse when I'm grumpy and someone headshots me for like the 18th time as I jumped around a corner, or I've just come out, I was invisible and I've just appeared, and I immediately get headshot. I'm like, "You fucking cheat." I will accuse them of cheating. They're not cheating. I'm just being a little bitch, okay? So I can understand that, and I think that might have been blown a little bit out of proportion. It's just, I don't know. You apologise, don't you? You go, "Oh yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm just being dumb." And that's enough, and you sort of move on. That's the way I see it, anyway. But obviously, cheating exists, and Avenger 1 wants to bring some sort of views on that. That's cool. Yeah, whatever. There's a lot of people being quite melodramatic about it, like Star Citizen has to fix cheating now. It can't fix cheating. It can't remove them. It can't remove them entirely. And it can think of processes, but it has to fix it now. Otherwise, Star Citizen is destroyed and gone. It's like, no, the game's alpha. Okay, they've got a huge amount of time to be able to fix these issues. If Star Citizen became rampant with cheaters to the point no one could test it, yeah, that would be a problem. But it's not rampant. It is happening. It would be, and it's, hear me out, it's good that it's happening to a small level now so Cloud Imperium can have eyes on it. Yeah? They've got anti-cheat. I'm not sure how the anti-cheat's going to enable you to sort of, I'm not sure how effective it is. I know it's a little invasive. I'm not a massive fan of anti-cheats, but I am less of a fan of cheaters. So, yeah, it's, I think it's a bit overly drummed up, but it's obviously an important issue. You don't want cheaters in games like Star Citizen, especially when real money has been exchanged. And yeah, people report cheaters. Yeah, report them. Eventually, they'll get banned. Eventually, Cloud Imperium will have better logging, and they can go cheater. They can have much better ways of. I mean, eventually, AI will probably be able to just work out who's cheating to a huge degree of accuracy, and then just have human eyes going review, yes, review, no, review, yeah. Nice simple process. Probably something that will be part of Star Citizen. Maybe. I don't know what I'm talking about. But you see what I mean? I genuinely do think that's a thing. My worry with people talking about just report them and everything, what if there is a cheat, because it's eventually a client authoritative cheat, that just allows you to just change your name? Yeah? You just have a different name. You know, I'll probably this guy, and then get them banned. Like, things like that. You don't know what to what level you're going to be able to change stuff, or what level they can get access to the dev console and things like that. I mean, that might not be a worry that's well-founded, but it's a worry. I'm going to tell you a little cheat story, which I'll probably allude to in the next podcast with Zin, because it was when I was playing GTA 5 with her many a year ago. There was cheater in that, like flying around, making people explode, but he had to look at you a lot of the time. And I noticed when we hit him with a car, he got knocked over, and it took him a while to get back up. Okay, so how do you deal with a cheat that's invincible? You can knock him over, but he's invincible. He can sort of insta-kill you with like lasers and stuff coming out of his eyes. He can teleport around. But as I said, we noticed that he got knocked down, and it took a while for him to get back up. We got a fire engine, and knocked him over with the hose there, and kept on the floor. Then we've got three other fire engines just hosing this guy down. He couldn't move, couldn't use his cheats apparently while he wasn't standing up. So that was really enjoyable. But yeah, cheats, hate cheats. I think you're close to scum, because it takes away the joy in anything, right? You're cheating. I've never cheated in a computer game. I've probably cheated when I was younger in a board game. I have occasionally, when I've been like annoyed, not corrected with myself with a mistake in a board game until later, like afterwards, and gone, oh, whoops. But not immediately known my mistake. I'm a big board gamer. I'm honesty about. I'm good with truth and honesty. I think it's super important for the world to exist and to actually play and enjoy games. But occasionally, I'm a bit of an arsehole myself. You know, try not to be. Try to be better. Cheats can be fun. That's the moral of the story. No, that's not the moral of the story. The moral of the story: don't cheat. Don't cheat. Don't be scum. Oh no, what am I teaching you? I'm teaching you the bad things. This is why I'm not a dad. Obviously, I've not tricked a woman to have children with me yet, but that's also a reason I'm not a dad, because I teach them bad things, bad morals. In terms of persistent hangers, when you buy a ship, you are given a specific type of hanger for that ship. Self-landing, aero view, VFG, etc. How will that work when you request a landing? So, okay. Detach that current idea. Think of the type of hanger more associated with the location it's at in the future, okay? Now, the old style of hangers, though, that we've just described is more because they were required for the size of the ships you had, or because they just wanted some different hangers in the game. It is going to work a bit different from that in the future. Just sort of be aware. And you'll have multiple hangers in the game, and multiple persistent hangers, which are persistent. It's going to be more customizable, because I suspect that the way they'll work at landing zones, you'll go there. I've got my own hanger here. Man with a beard. I've got a hanger here, and well, really, what that means is that the elevator takes me to my hanger, which is sort of in a physicalized location for that thing, but it might move around. And then I have a little bit of a representation of this hanger, and more it's UI based and just shows what's in my hanger. I'm saying more UI based. There's like, you know, an interactable screen where I can move stuff around, because they can just have stuff like behind. Go, well, you've got some cargo here and you've got lots of ships here, but your ships are stored behind this wall, and then you fly out of your hangar into like a larger exit space. That's the way I would expect to see that with hangars. Sorry if I'm bouncing all over the place with my sort of thoughts. As I said, I do have a cold. I'm pretty ill. My brain is a bit blah, blah, blah. I'm not a fan of easy anti-cheat as a cheat solution. I mean, potentially better than nothing. However, quite invasive, quite resource intensive as far as well, though, that I'm thinking more of like 5 years ago. What else have we got here? Yeah, but I think I don't think there's actually been that many additional problems with cheating lately. Is it confirmed that the co-pilot will be the operator for the MPQED for the Scorpius Antares? It's not confirmed, but it looks likely. Clan Pyramid said there's going to be an FAQ released with the ship. That was their answer to that question. So, we talking about Sons of the Forest? So, Sparrow, any good? Because me and Zin and I are planning to play it later today. And Forest, one of my favourite games, is Sons of the Forest good? Is it playable in its early access state? I've just bought it for Zin and I as well. So we're planning to play it later today if we feel like we're alive. There's been so much teased for the game, many different approaches to server meshing, etc. Aren't you disappointed on how CIG keeps reworking features instead of progressing? They're doing both. They are doing both. And part of them moving forward is to evolve features. See, there is less reworking of features now and more evolving of features, and there is a marked difference. Because what I would say is that there are some very much placeholder systems they put in which were planned to be entirely reworked, and a lot of what they do now is either add entirely new things or evolve current systems. I mean, there are still some they rework, admittedly, and that's what we're going to be seeing with the resource management system and then physicalized components, right? So, am I sad that they make less progress than I want? Yeah, I mean, I want them to make more progress. Really slow burn Star Citizen. If I told myself when I started doing Star Citizen content 8.5 years ago, you're going to be doing Star Citizen content in 8.5 years and it's still being alpha, I'd have gone, who are you? You're a fatter version of me. Get away, fat old man version of me. You have more money when you're older, though, and I'll be like, okay, I'm listening. I'm listening now. You can do this forever. You can do the same job forever, just covering Star Citizen's perpetual alpha. Ooh, that's exciting. I don't think that's necessarily true. I do think they are making a good amount of progress, or at least progress. It's not as much as I want, but it is at least there. I do think we'll see Squadron 42 in the next couple of years. It's always the next couple of years, but I'm pretty bullish on Star Citizen. I love it. I think it's quite fun now. I think it's going to be hugely fun in the future. Vikings Dawn, thank you so much for the donation. That is genuinely appreciated. I know you get this a lot, but I hope this helps. What is the true state of 3.18 and what is, in your opinion, the biggest blocker for life? So it is mostly accessibility and stability problems that they are trying to counter at the moment. There are problems with elevators and transit systems. There are problems with 30Ks and general instability. So there are obviously also some, I mean, they're not edge cases, but more edge casey than those. Things like, well, actually a fully laden cargo ship in certain areas in the game cause people to crash. Not just necessarily the person that's flying them. So the things like that then it gets solved. So blockers wise, you'll see Cloud Imperium, because they're not adding any more content to 3.18 now, other than potentially the Antares that could cause problems, but hopefully not. They are just bug fixing. So they're bug fixing and iterating on getting the game as stable as possible. Now, 3.18 almost certainly won't be as stable as 3.17.5. And that's one of the reasons that 3.19 is built on that same code base. And so for people that don't know, 3.19 should realistically be called 3.18.x because it doesn't branch off fully, truly. One of the reasons for that is that they don't have enough time to do that. They want to refine 3.18's branch so that it's a lot more stable for 3.18 as well. 3.19, sorry. Also, don't be sorry about the question. You gave me 20 quid and asked a question. You're more than welcome to just ask a question freely. You're more than welcome to donate freely. You're more than welcome to combine them together. Because that's what I like. If you donate money, I'll read your question immediately. And I'd like donations because they help me. Silly G, thank you so much for the subby boy. Becoming a membery boy. Well, you've been a member for 11 months. You're ill too. Everyone in the UK is ill. Yes, I know. It's just something going around. I think it's because, obviously, we had people spending a lot of time in the homes over the last year and a couple of years. And I think people's immune systems are down because of that, because you don't get the natural colds. And now people started moving around again. And obviously, I went away to Nottingham for a weekend. It's just, if you're so much more likely to get a cold because your immune system's down. That's my doctor theory. I'm now a doctor. No, I'm not. Let me make that clear. A doctor of Star Citizen. Ooh, I like that. Do you think CIG should be completing some of the various ships in concept instead of making questionable variants of existing ships? They do both. So I want them to clear ships out. They clear a lot more ships out than they create. They clear a lot of the backlog out each year. I mean, they just do. Is it all of them? No. I mean, we're still waiting on the banning merchants, things like that. It's going to be a long time before the Endeavours in game. So it's typically the larger ones, like the Kraken and stuff, that people complain more about. Because you go, well, when they're going to be in game. And obviously the Squadron 42 ones, they get a lot more focus. The Clan Imperium's monetization model is based on them producing more ships. One of the things you can say about those variants, though, is that they are immediately flyable, and a lot of the ships they do concept even now get flyable a lot quicker, typically. That might be a downside to you. That might be like, well, that actually just proves my point, man. They need to be clearing out these older ships. Well, I mean, they are. They just takes a while. I say they are with like at least the Banner Merchantman and that sort of stuff. I mean, when are we going to see the Orion? It's doubled in size. It would seem a silly idea for them to put a huge development team on that, getting it in game, when they could actually have them working on a mixture of some other ships that need to get done and some new ones, right? Jay Bird, thank you so much. Oh, you're a beautiful boy. It's an amazing mod. Gives me money. Get better soon. We all consider you a friend and genuinely appreciate you and everything you do. Say hi to Sin and fam. So hopefully I'm going to try and get around some more bar citizens this year in the UK, especially around Manchester and anything super local to me. So Manchester's quite far away from me, but I'm get a plane up there, or I can I can coax Zin into giving me a lift and giving her a day off. Okay, Zin, take you and your partner up to Manchester and buy dinner for everyone, and we could go to Bar Citizen, and we can drink. So yes, do more of that. Well, I can't remember what I was talking about. What's going on? Sons of the Forest? What? What else we got here? I was 40 when I started. I'm 51 now. God, yeah, think of it. It's 11 years of Star Citizen. What do you want me to make a poll on? Am I doing a poll on? Make a quick YouTube poll and chat. What's the poll about? What was I talking about earlier? Did you see Space Short's video about the mining changes for 3.19? If so, what's your reaction, thoughts, and your ideas in general? I've seen the Inside Star Citizen one, and I've made my own video, which will be going live after this. I like the evolution of mining mechanics. I want Clan Imperium to do that sort of stuff more. I don't want them to keep on evolving stuff and super iterating on it. Well, there's other stuff that needs to be done. I mean, but if there's only small teams working on these things that are giving us a lot more meaty gameplay, it's a live product, it's a live development. So I do want more gameplay as often as we can. So I am up for it. I think it's a good idea. So Brigantine or Manowar for the Drake Heavy Fighter name. Just think these names are cool. I like Manowar, but a few people said, that should be a bigger ship. Well, maybe not. I mean, it's a spaceship. It's in space. Brigantine's good, but I think it doesn't roll off the tongue in the same way, right? I look just like you, Board. I'm so sorry for your loss. Any news about about Vulkan and VR? So Vulkan integration, I think, is likely to come in 3.19. VR, no new news on VR, but Clan Imperium should start talking about it, or at least one of their devs should start talking about it once Vulkan's in game. Is there a piracy PvP in 3.18? I think I had it with half is shut, so I'm not sure. So piracy is much more viable in 3.18 because of the soft destruction system. So ships that get shot, they, instead of exploding and killing everyone aboard and all the cargo exploding out of it, and like a ratio of cargo exploding out of it, ships instead are permanently disabled a lot of the time. You can shoot them still after they're permanently disabled to blow them up in the same way as before, but the ship will then be permanently disabled. You can go over to salvage it, you can go on board and loot its cargo. Its cargo will remain intact. If it's a player ship, the crew will survive, so they might try to repel your boarding action. Obviously, they might also try and call in reinforcements. I mean, if it's an NPC ship, the crew are in 3.18, they're dead. So piracy is very viable in 3.18 because you can actually do it, which is cool because that might make the game a lot more interesting and make people think that other people are less arsehole-ish because they're like, this is viable gameplay, bring escorts, call in for help. It's part of the game. Although Clan Imperium have sort of tried to focus some of the criminal and PvP gameplay around Security Base Korea and things like that. So there's a lot of thought that's gone into this, or at least some. Thank you so much. In my opinion, not fat. You look hot as hell. Thank you very much, Fung Long. I'm not sure if you're my type. I can only see a tiny little circle. That is hard to work out. That's like it's sort of like an enticing catfish. You're like, oh, this is an enigma of a box. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'll take it. I'll just take it as a compliment. Mum, someone on my stream said today, that was hot as hell. I mean, they're wrong and broken in so many ways, but, I'll take it. How long to 4.0? I'm still getting buzzed. We don't know. Clan Imperium, last time they talked about it, they said they would like to have, an EVA CAR-T for 4.0 out by the end of this year. That looks less likely, just because... Well, does it look less likely now? So, recently, Cloud Imperium talked about effectively decoupling the replication layer from jump points and pyro. So, we'd have server meshing light, or effectively no true server meshing for 4.0, but that would enable them to get pyro and jump points out the door a lot quicker. So, what does that mean? I don't know. Does that mean we'll see 4.0 by the end of the year? It's more possible now, I suppose, with that in mind. And are we going to have server meshing at all for 4.0, or is it going to be server meshing light? Or it certainly steps towards server meshing, whatever. Would you like to see what we talked about earlier? I want much more in game than just buying ships. Question, when we'll be able to get base tech. So there's lots of work going towards player bases. So player habs, persistent hangars, all that sort of stuff is steps towards that. Some of the stuff you're seeing on the screen at the moment with Cloud Imperium building out more and more outposts and derelict settlements and things like that is steps towards player bases as well. They've got this tool called Rastar, which will eventually be evolved into a player-facing tool, which will enable us to build and place bases. We know the Pioneer is going to be useful for helping build bases. Mobile Factory, going to build bigger bases with that, better things at your base, but you don't need it to build a base. But we don't know when it's coming. I talked to Aaron in 2018, and the thing he was excited to get in by the end of that year was land claims, and then starting to have the exploitation of resources at land claims, and then looking at sort of base building beyond that. Obviously, that didn't come to pass, but it was something they were working on at the time. I'm getting the ship itch. What are you anticipating for Invictus? Oh, I don't know. There's a load of stuff they could do. And there's a load of stuff that is in the works at the moment. So I'm excited for Invictus. Fleet Week's always a great laugh. Yeah, with Avenger 1, I think he's trying to do probably a good thing. Yeah, it seems like he's trying to draw eyes to cheating. Good thing. I think he's a little bit melodramatic about it, but I mean, I can be melodramatic. There's 1,000 things you can criticize about me as well, so it's better for the video. I mean, it's much more entertaining to watch the video, so I do not. I'm gonna blow my nose. Sorry. Yeah, that's entertainment. I don't, don't bear him any ill will for that. I think that's probably the right thing to do, but I don't think it's the end of Star Citizen or anything like that. I mean, it would be if Cloud Imperium let it get rampant and then did nothing about it and so, bleh, give us more money. Something like that. But also, I don't think he's a bad chap at all. I think he's quite a good chap. He's a nice guy. From what I can tell. So. Free ship, please. Well, good luck in the monthly ship giveaway. Is duping or exploiting LFUC solely the same as cheating? Not the same as cheating, unless the VBC was gathered through cheating. That would be an exploit, and that would be against terms of service, potentially fraud, depending on potentially what country you are. Maybe I am not a lawyer, but sort of thing. They'll certainly get you banned. You can put cheating and exploits in the same category if you want, but that's down to your own personal sort of opinion there. Cheating can only run Star Citizen if any critical state is controlled by the client. It's easier to secure things on the server. Yes, so server authoritative stuff, much easier to secure. You have, like, EVE Online, much harder to cheat in. And it's got great logging as well, so it's much harder to even sell stuff in it, though it happens rampantly just because of the amount of people that do it. Not the cheating, the selling of stuff and going against the technical terms of service. Like ISK and things like that. So, Star Citizen can't be truly service authoritative unless they come up with some great tech, because it's a lot more taxing on the servers if you go full authoritative, and there'd be a bit more delay and lag and hit reg and all that sort of stuff would suffer. So we'll have to see. I mean, maybe by the time they're done, there might be some significantly better ways of doing this stuff that they can just go, actually, we've got so much processing power now. We've got quantum computers at Amazon and significantly better AI and internet stuff. I always just throw AI in there. So use the word AI when you don't understand something as well. Probably just get AI to do it. The Antares is good design, however, EMP as a whole mechanic needs work. It certainly needs, yeah, I mean, once we have physicalized components and the resource management system, that's when they need to dial it in, right? It'd be nice if it's functioned well before that. If it's a two-seater ship, then it sucks because the co-pilot will be bored. Yeah, quite possibly. I agree with you. But it's a ship you'd only bring out when you've got a very specific purpose of doing something. And it's also like all of these ships, heavy fighters, light fighters, whatever, they are slightly less heavy fighters if they're long range. But they are much more supposed to be used short range from a carrier or operating out of a base nearby, right? There's been so much tease for the game, many different approaches for server meshing. We've talked about that before. What have I done? What's going on? I'm not giving sketch therapy. How do I give him a mod? I can only see start. Okay. Bear with me. Bear with me. Rawr. There's a bear with me. No, let me give you a sword sketch therapy. That's what I'm doing, right? I'm very suggestible right now. Yeah. Perfect. I think that works. Oh no, what have I done? My chat's disappeared. It's probably didn't need it anyway. Shark Bite. If other mods want you as a mod, then yeah, well, at the moment I don't want to make decisions because my brain is frazzled. So yeah, let's give everyone a sword. Woo! Although you literally gave me a little tiny sword, so maybe it's only fair. Right. What else have we got here? Have I told you about NFTs? I own some NFTs. Cat girls. Let's not talk about weird NFTs I own. I hope Star Citizen gets a DayZ planet. They'll probably have some sort of zombie-esque outbreak on a planet, right? My chest really hurts. I was coughing a lot over the week. Do you think we'll get more missions like the Horizon missions that you can reach on foot? Yeah, I mean, so we'll start to see these across hopefully multiple outposts that are closely linked to each other, so we can use a ground vehicle to move between all these outposts and deal with lots of ground-based missions. That would be absolutely fantastic. Environmental sort of hazards and defenses which prevent you bringing a ship too close. But yes, I think we'll see loads more stuff like that on the ground and at cities as well. So they are planning to have building interiors at a lot of places and roofs. Clan Imperium talked about this recently. About persistent hubs, are we going to build them on planets or moons? So there is going to be the way to build bases on planets and moons. Persistent hubs, look to me, one of the ways to be able to get them will be you'll be able to rent or buy them at planets and moons already. But we don't have the full details yet, by any means. Have you seen any city art for 4.0 and beyond? Are they staying with skyscrapers or moving into other concepts? So it looks like some of the level updates and stuff are coming in 3.19 potentially, and they are just evolving the way the city looks and make it a higher detail and allowing you to get closer to it. You'll see a load of different architecture at different cities in the future as well. Sort of bear that in mind. It will be different per planet and per sort of system. About all have their own architectural style. I say all have their own architectural style. That's not entirely true. There's going to be a huge amount of reused assets. After a while, they have like a high-tech set that have all these different sets of assets and then have variants of them. And they can do quite a lot just varying them. Do you think we need a transport ship that isn't as big as the Hercules or Liberator? We can transport a single large ground vehicle, like the Nova. I mean, that's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea just to have a single ship doing that. I mean, could you do that with an SRV maybe? Can you just tractor it? But I know what you mean, sort of have a dedicated sort of protection for it for just moving one. So I think that the Crusader Spirit will definitely be released during 3.19 branch. It's possible that it will be released with 3.19 initial. I mean, we know it's all sort of stations go with the Crusader Spirit series. Thank you so much for the kind words. That's genuinely appreciated. The roadmap shows the work on physical damage and breakability to end sometimes early next month. That's not entirely true. We don't know if there's any additional work to go on to that. Although that would suggest that I'd need to check to see if the downstream teams had been added. But that's certainly a great indicator that we'll probably see the Halle and the Hammerhead with sort of like those pixelized components and stuff like that later this year. Physical damage systems. All part of that resource management stuff and physical components too. I do think they're going to get those ships into some very good working order. What do you think the chances are of the work actually finishing and CIG moving to ship armor? I think they'll start to work on ship armor probably as part of that, right? So I think that will need some more work beyond what we see on the roadmap, but it might be close to completion. We just don't know yet. I'll have a more detailed look at that later. But Clan Imperium should be showing everything or a lot of the stuff for the first quarter with the downstream teams now as well. Travel the map. Thank you very much for the sack. That's genuinely appreciated. How do you think they will handle fauna with persistence? Spawn closets for, or can you exterminate the population of space cows? So, expect a level of spawn closet, because I don't think you'll be able to truly remove flora and fauna in an area. They've got like a way of being able to break down plants and stuff. You'll be able to hunt animals. You'll be able to take all of the cows off the planet, or whatever. But they'll still spawn there. I mean, there's no way they'll just go. Yeah, once you wipe them out, they're gone, man. Go, really? Like, they'll be wiped out from everywhere within the week because people will just be like, lol. Was it Ultima Online that did that? one of those games where they went, we're going to have proper biodiversity, and the hens will get hunted by the foxes and all this stuff. They wiped out foxes in the first day entirely from the server. It just collapsed the ecosystem. What's your favourite sources for the information you get? So it's mostly CIG, so I'll look through all the stuff they've done. I do have a couple of sources that I poke occasionally, which is CIG devs. I've got some friends at CIG and stuff like that as well. I do watch big range of starters and content creators. I felt a little bit down when I saw the roadmap updates over the last couple of sets of roadmap updates, because I was thought they were going to be a bit more expansive, and they just weren't, unfortunately. Do you think we'll ever get another salvage ship? Yes, I think we'll either get another salvage ship, most probably anyway, or we'll see modularity to allow other ships to become salvage ships. Also, I'm not a fan of having to move the boxes out of the dispensaries for the salvage ships we currently have. It doesn't feel... Feels like they should be a little tiny bit more automated, right? Speaking of Siege of Orison type gameplay, do you think they're going to be still the gameplay added to ArcCorp? Yes. So a lot of... It's going to be a lot of buildings at landing zones and nearby that will have interiors, that will allow for a load of different types of mission gameplay, FPS, sort of infiltration, loads of different types of things. You know what I noticed the other day? My ship overheated, sitting idle, powered on, outside a station for 10 minutes. Weird. Are you flying over a landing pad or something? How will base building work? We don't know yet. We just don't know yet. Base building has evolved beyond what they had originally intended. Originally, it was outposts that you could basically deploy, and those outposts would have different function based on the type of outpost you built. You could build loads in your 4x4 kilometer area or 2x2 kilometer area, whatever. And then you could pick them up with the Pioneer and place them somewhere else. It fabricated them. But now, it's going to be a lot more expansive, it seems. Right. Mate, say Battlefield Gothic vibes, someone. I've got... reasons. Got a 3D printer, my mate, and we started, say my mate, a load of us, like 12 of us or something, 8 and 12 of us, we got into Battlefield Gothic again because we found some guy making really great STLs of sort of stuff. So I've got some loads of Orc rocks. Literally just, this is an asteroid just covered in bits of ship. And I've got a big bag of Orc cruiser bits. So I'm going to build a load of Orc cruisers, and basically I just want a load of asteroids and space hulks for the most part. But I'm getting into Battlefield Gothic again because, yeah, some cool stuff. Really, a lot of nostalgia for that. Modularity, we've gone through looking at us. Modularity will be a thing. So modularity, literally, basically, deeper customization of your ships, taking rooms and going, bam, this cargo bay is now becoming a salvage bay, enabling your ship to salvage or whatever. There's a huge range of features there. Obviously, some ships are built for modularity, like the Caterpillar. We don't see modularity for it yet. It's all cargo at the moment. But Cal Imperium will be building modularity in probably after they've got the resource system done. That makes sense, right? Resource system done, then you get the physical components of modularity sort of pushed. So there ain't no money in that. Talking about no money and doing modularity. I think it's other modules. But also, it's just good customization for the game. Honeydew, hard to believe it's been 7 years. 2016, seems like yesterday. Glad to finally catch you live. Been crazy, but I'm going to CitizenCon as well. Oh, I will try and get to CitizenCon. Honeydew, mate. It'd be good to see you and a load of other people that I've sort of heavily neglected. Because I consider you internet friends, and it'd be nice to meet you, have a drink with people, chat for a while until I get moderately pissed, and they'd be actually friends. Where you go, oh God, I didn't know Bored was going to be like this. He's dancing. Oh God, he's dancing, and that is Oh, I'm hard to handle. Had we known then still no Squadron 42? Had we known then still no Squadron 42 in 2023? Pah! I like to live dangerously. It has been 7 years since I thought Squadron 42 was coming out every year. So one day, 2025, eh? That's the year of Squadron 42. It'll be fine. It'll be good. I genuinely appreciate all the kind words. Thank you so much. I will not dance naked. I'll be fully clothed. Don't you worry. I promise you that. I can. It's a high probability that I will be dressed. Do you think they'll do a sale for an unannounced Anvil capital ship? It's possible we could see another capital ship this year. I do think that there's going to be a focus on variants, things that are straight to flyable, and medium-sized ships if they do any more concepts in the medium term, just because I think that capital ships are quite a lot of work for Cloud Imperium. They make a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but I think we'll start to see less and less in the way of additional capital ships added to the game through concept. Is the quarterly release gone? So, no, but yes. So there's obviously 3.18's caused some kerfuffle. They're pushing towards 4.0. So it's the releases are more erratic at the moment. They still have sort of rough plans of like this quarter would plan to get a patch out, this quarter would plan to get a patch out. But it is all over the place. So it's not gone, but it's not to be trusted currently. We'll see. We'll see 3.18 this month. We'll see 3.19 in Q2. See this month, this quarter. Hopefully we'll see 3.18 live by the end of this month, but it's looking more likely mid-March. Yeah, but Argo capital ship. It would be cool. I get very hype about capital ships. Right, I should go because can I join the Dusters? The Dusters are going to be in Stanton soon. I am going to dash off because I need water, probably some lunch, get the video out, and then to nap. I do appreciate everyone staying here and asking those questions. Like these streams are about you guys asking questions, me having a bit of a chat, me getting to understand what's sort of going on in the community, what you're liking, what you're not liking, all that sort of jazz. And for me, a great way of me getting donations. So genuinely thank you. I'm going to find out who else is streaming and suggest you go and watch someone else. Let me have a look. Who is actually streaming at the moment? Salty Mike's on. I'm going to push you over to Salty Mike. I love the boy. He is a lot more Star Citizen critical than I am. But he's honest, he's beautiful, he's a great friend, and he plays a load of Star Citizen. He plays that on stream. And I very rare to play Star Citizen on stream at the moment, though that will change. So you can actually get some gameplay from there. Let me send you over his way. Boop. No, what have I done? What am I doing? I'm doing this, and I'm going here, and then I'm going back there. Oh my god, I'm so bad. My brain is totally frazzled. Genuinely, thank you for being here today. I'm sorry that my mind was a bit sort of all over the place. People might be fine with that. People might like you. Actually, this is just how you are normally. But I'm melting somewhat. You can look forward to a bit of a deeper dive into mining in 3.19 from a video later today. And we are going to start to be covering a lot of 3.19 stuff. But obviously, weirdly, since 3.18's live, we're going to be covering loads of 3.18 stuff. So, bit of a mixed bag over the next few days. Thank you very much for watching. Love you guys loads. You take care, and I'll see you in the verse. Peace.